right, so we shall begin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry about the delay, and welcome, one and all, to She Mode. This is an Andrew Sport and Entertainment Consultancy production. This is a three-part series in celebration of International Women's Day that happens March 8th on every month. Now, we at Andrew Sport and Entertainment Consultancy, we are a sport company, entertainment company, and a sport entertainment company. All right, so we are a hybrid or a tribrid, as some people may know. We deal with sport entertainment on a whole. We deal with social work for young girls and children as well, and just the holistic element of using sport or entertainment or sport entertainment as a tool for growth. Good evening to you, Ms. Josanne. All right. Now, She Mode is a three-part series. We did one over the weekend. We did 2 parts of the 3-part, and tonight is the conclusion. All right. So, for instance, Saturday we dived into entertainment, and we were speaking to multiple-time Calypso Monarch finalist Miss Stacey Subers. Was a great interview. And then Sunday we spoke with the senior women's national team vice captain, Miss Victoria Swift. And we are concluding this evening with another entertainment prospect, another entertainer, I should say, Miss Anna. All right, so I want you all to join in. Feel free to leave your comments. I hope that we have a great one. Not I hope, we are going to have a great one. So without further ado, let's see if I can get my guest in, and we shall begin. Right. Let's go. Right, people. So, you know how it is, it's all about celebrating the contributions of women in Trinidad and Tobago, the region, and the world. Right?
My guest can come in at this time, and we shall begin. Hope you all are having a wonderful day. I had a good day. All right. So here we are. You're hearing me properly, Miss Anna?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Good. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is an Andrew Sport and Entertainment Consultancy production, and I am here with the incomparable, the stylish, what other great words can I use? The magnificent, the awe-inspiring, RichXAnna. To give it up, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night, everyone. Good night, thank you for having me.
Not a problem at all, not a problem. As I said, this is the conclusion of the 3-part series of She Mode, where we are celebrating the accomplishments of women for International Women's Day. So, enough of me talking. Enough of you. Nobody come here to hear me talk. They come to hear you. So, first question. What's your name and how did you get your start in the business?
So, my name, my sobriquet, and my actual name, my legal name, is both the same thing. It's pronounced the same way, actually. It's RichXAnna. So, my mom and dad decided that, when I was born, they would mesh their names together. And for the majority of my life, I didn't really like my name because everybody pronounced it wrong. So I decided that, you know what, when I started doing music, and I have influence in music, my family has influence in music as well. So I started writing at a really young age, and I started playing the keys at school. When I started in St. Francois, I actually started in primary school, but I moved around a lot. So I got stability and really got into the music scene when I was at St. Francois. And I said, you know what, people always get my name wrong anyway, so you know what, I'm just gonna make my sobriquet my name, but it's just spelled a bit differently, but it's pronounced basically the same way. So it's RichXAnna, is a play on the rich pun as well as my actual name, which is RichXAnna, which is
Okay.
RichXAnna.
All right. So how do you get to start in the business besides um what was the okay. You said that you got it starting at in France and and you got your stability and you really got your foot in secondary school. Besides doing that, who are some of the most famous persons or places you have performed? You have performed with some good names. What is the, some people may not know the names, but what it means to you is very important as an artist. So who are some of the persons that you would consider
So
famous persons and places you have performed?
So I got my start, my real push in the industry, with Mayor the band, Joel Ali, rest in peace. He had a vision for music, and when we met, the vision just synced so well about pushing a positive message, pushing, just good vibrations in your music, and he believed in me. He actually gave me my first start in performing live performances and going to venues and you know basically showing people how to have a good time and enjoying life. And that's what he was all about. So I really do appreciate him and giving me that opportunity to see the side of music that I don't think I would have gotten to see had he not entered my life, if I'm being honest. Because even though my family also does have background in music, I kind of made my mind up after school what I wanted to be, and it wasn't a musician. So had I not met him and persons like Jono Cool, um, I wrote my first soca for Jono, and they basically believed in me. So I do always give tribute to them as my start in the industry, officially. And then from there, I started making my own connections with persons and just generally being a butterfly, a social butterfly in the industry. And yeah, that is how I have
Yeah.
um, attained my
Okay.
name as a songwriter, co-producer,
Okay. So
musician.
are you
Mhm.
are you strictly a reggae artist?
No, actually, no,
Okay.
I am
You
not.
you were you're a multifaceted artist.
Yes, I always
Okay.
say I'm a songwriter first.
Mm-hmm.
I actually am a businesswoman first. So you
Yeah,
come to me
sure.
with a
No
good
problem. No,
idea,
not a
and
problem at all.
I move with
Yeah.
it accordingly. But I am a songwriter at heart, and music for me, I don't believe in boxing myself into one genre. I started off with soca because I mean we're Trinis, so I started off with soca. My love is with R&B, alternative R&B. I do reggae as well, alternative reggae. I also co-produce, so I have dabbled and do dabble a bit in different fields of the industry.
Okay. Fair enough. So officially you have been in the business for what? Let's say about what? 10 years? 10 plus years?
Um, I have been performing since, well, if we're counting paid performances, I have been performing since 2019. If we're
Mm-hmm.
counting for the love of the thing, I have been performing since I could pronounce words properly. So I would say about 5 years old when I was actually before 5 years old, about 3 or 4 years old, at my valedictorian preschool service, I sang. So I've been I've been doing this music thing I do it because I love it. So I've been doing it for as long as I could have done it. But professionally, in terms of um, working with other persons and stuff, I started doing that in 2019.
Okay, fair enough. Being from a musical background and a musical family, I'm sure
Hmm.
you have seen many different things. And from your perspective now as a producer and a songwriter and an artist, what can you say the difference in the music industry from when you started to now?
If I'm being honest, I, I feel like we have a broader a broader field to play with in terms of female artists. People are now looking for more from women as opposed to the type of the type of music, sorry, that women would have done before. We kind of were in a box, so to speak, and it was very hard to push that boundary as women. But now people are a lot more accepting to things. And yeah, I might say that, some of the music that's being put out there is kind of cliche or it's kind of sultry or it shouldn't be, people will
Mhm.
have their opinions. But I honestly believe that as long as your music is not harming anyone, that is the most important thing. As long as it's about feeling good, upliftment, um, these things, because we all have different moods. Sometimes you need a hype song. Sometimes you need something that is not too fast, but thing music has a lot of influence on our moods. So I also believe that if you are able to push those boundaries, if you're able to put your emotions into your music and have people connect to that, it gives us a wider variety of things that we could put out there. And that to me is one of the biggest changes. And I appreciate that on all levels because it's on a really big scale now, but it started at a really small level and I appreciate that growth.
Oh, I understand that very much.
Yeah.
Touching on the implementations of um, of women in the industry. Seeing that it's International Women's Day tomorrow, God's willing, what does that day signify to you?
Women's Day, what it signifies to me, that's a really great question. Well, to me, every day is a Woman's Day. I'm a bit biased, I would not lie. Um,
That's all right.
because as women, we have a lot to enjoy, we have a lot to go through, we have a lot to push through. And tomorrow is just one of those days that we get a reminder of these things. And if I'm being honest, it it takes that time just as Mother's Day. It takes that time to sit down and really reflect as to the things that women have to deal with on a day-to-day basis that a man may not think about or may not have to think about. I don't want to get too much into the nitty gritty, but there are a lot of these small details. You always hear a woman talking about the small details, the finer things. You always see the little things. And that's because we genuinely do have to always be on those little things. And having days like International Women's Day, it means that we're taking that time to appreciate those little things. And genuinely, not to sidestep off of it, but I do hope that we do the same when it comes to men as well, because I am a firm believer in equal rights, in equity and equality across the board. And I believe that we as women have to also remember that we have a role and that is where the cycle itself starts. That's where the cogs start moving in a way that everything can work cognitively. It doesn't have any jams. We have to remember that. So it's not only about remembering what we do, but also remembering about what we're supposed to do and what we, you know, and what we are expected of in the society and things that we can't do. That's where we rely on the back end, and that's where International Women's Day. It's a reminder to us all.
Yeah, yes,
So that's how I feel
I
about
like
the day.
I like the response about the equity, and you can say that loud. That's just some of the people in the back of the mail. I appreciate you. But that's all right.
Yeah, that's
Um,
a big thing. That is a big thing. Equity and equality is a really big thing for me. I believe that as women, if we try to overstep our boundaries, we will not move forward. And we're we're all here for a purpose and a reason, and we need each other. So we need to act like it.
I like that. Um, you spoke about equity and equality, and being in the local music business, in the local fraternity, we have seen it grow so much over the years. Um, and we're seeing a lot of the Trinity coming out in the dancehall and reggae parts of it, especially
Mhm.
when it comes to the ground. We're seeing it. Um, in that growth, can you say, have you seen a fair share of encouragement for women in the art form, whether it be singing, producing, writing, whatever the case may be? Especially when it comes to the local, the real outside of soca and calypso, I would say. So let's talk about the R&Bs and the reggaes and the dancehall and stuff like that. And you
I
can
just
even
want to
throw in the calypso.
confirm. I want to clarify your question. If you mean specifically to the singing aspect, or if you mean in all aspects of the field, you
in,
mean
in
production,
general, everything.
songwriting. So if I'm being honest, and this is, I can only speak from my experiences, there is somewhat of a lack of respect for women in the industry when you start. And it is only proven over time based on either your skill set or what you're willing to do that you would gain said respect. And not all of the time it is said respect. And as it stands with my first point of equity and equality, if you approach me and you judge me based off of what I'm doing, that's fine. I can understand that because there's a certain level of a certain standard that everyone holds in their studio. But for you to put me down, because I have a male counterpart that I work with, and I have my input in what we do. I'm not a person that's boastful about my input. I am not a person that's going to put my partner down in what he does because we both play crucial parts. We're vital parts to what's being done. And I feel a lot of the times that when I go to places, when I go to perform and all these different things, when they see him, automatically it's okay, shut her out. We're gonna deal with the guy. We're dealing with the man. And most of the time, you have to come to me as well because of what we're doing. We are a team. He is also very big on that. We are a team. It's when you see it's RichXAnna and provocative. And a lot of people
Okay.
lose that because of, well, they're seeing him there, basically. So I believe that there's a lot of respect that's lost when you go into a field as a new artist and you don't prove yourself with like immediacy. And so people expect certain things of you. And when you don't give certain things, it then hampers or hinders your performance, how far you reach. And I think we need to really work on that locally. We need to work on that.
Fair enough. I understand. It's about proper treatment. Simple as that.
Correct.
And touching on that, where you say that you are a team with your partner, provocative, and despite it all, at the end of the day, they still have to come to you. So, what methods do you implement to encourage young women in the art form?
Things that I encourage persons get into different aspects of music, get into different aspects of the industry. Don't just say that you're doing songwriting. Don't just say that you're an artist. Try and get behind the scenes. Try and learn what you want to do in terms of the production side of things, in terms of the graphics, in terms of how to present your brand. Don't just let someone do that for you and control that for you. Get behind that because it's a lot of work. I'm not going to say no, it's not easy, but it's worth it in the long run because it is easier for you to gain respect when you walk into a room and you know what you're talking about as opposed to you are fishing for information, going based off of what you see then and there, making it up as you go. And I believe that that is one of the most powerful things that you could do. Educate yourself in the business on all levels, whether it be legally to musically, but whatever you think you need in this industry to succeed, start learning about it, start doing research about it.
Very good. I believe in that plenty, with research and studying. Becoming educated, not just having an education.
Correct.
And which leads into the next question of being multifaceted in terms of understanding the different ways to grow in the business. And one of that being social media. So that my next question is, the world has become so much smaller in terms of branding and getting your work out there. Do you believe women artists or women entertainers in general on the local and on the ground understand the power of social media?
Yes and no. And I think it's not necessarily that they don't understand. Everybody is trying to make it. And I believe everybody is looking at everybody else's success and using that as the yardstick as to what to do to get to where they need to go. And we need to remember that everybody's journey is not the same now. As you mentioned, social media. I'm not a big social media person. I used to be. It's not hard to blow up on social media. But what I would like is the human connection to my music. So instead of me always running to social media to do things, social media is my secondary platform. My first platform is real life. So I prefer to go live and interact with my crowd and build that connection. And then I would probably post on social media after the connection that was built there. And then that is, to me, a bit more important than just being on social media as a musician. That is how the greats are still the greats. They connected with their fans on that physical level, that physical emotional level. And the reason why I said yes, women, they know what social media is capable of and they understand what it's capable of is because let's be real, they're using it and they're doing it and they're doing the thing. And women are popping off. We having much more a larger influx of female artists coming in because of social media. There's not just before. Remember, back in the day, it would be just using for reference. Nicki Minaj, she would have been the only female of her time doing it like she did. And now with social media, we have artists like Bia, Ice Spice, Candyman. Like we have some names of females that just doing their thing and popping off, and it's really great. And at the same time, the reason why I also say no is because the things that are being done, not by all these persons that are naming, but by persons on the whole in general, in order to get there, I believe in a digital footprint, and I believe that you don't want to have certain things haunting you. Be very careful, be very mindful of the things that you do put onto the internet, because once it's there, we all know that saying. Once it's out there, it's out there. You can't
So the
take that off of
everything
somebody's phone if they already downloaded it, you know. So that digital footprint is very important, and I do like to. That's one of the reasons why I actually stay very clear of social media. My page doesn't have much followers, but I don't do it for the followers. I don't do it for the likes, as Chronic say. We do it for the love. We don't do it for the likes. I do music for the love, and people following me, that's a plus. You just get to see me post more music. Like, but to say that I'm gonna put myself out there in certain ways just because I'm trying to put myself there for music, I do try to avoid that angle, because of it. It all ties into one, the same respect, the same equality and equity. It all ties into one. So yeah.
yeah, that's cool. Man. That's a very unique way to put it. Um, coming on to the end, so let's go into some rapid fire questions.
hmm
Who's your favorite female reggae artist of all time?
Who is my favorite
Female reggae artist of all time.
female reggae artist of all time? Mm, I have so many. Off the top of my brain, off the top of my dome, I'm gonna go with Lauren Hill,
Okay.
in terms of cadence flow, and like that's the name not coming to me right now. Um, and I'll also say Dawn Penn, honorable mention. I love her style of music.
Okay. Um, what is your go to thing or go to activity when you need to be motivated?
My go-to activity when I need to be motivated. This gonna sound a little vain. um, I look at myself in the mirror and I tell myself that I have to get up and do this. Nobody else is gonna do this for me. Um, yeah.
What's your favorite meal?
Favorite meal? Anything with potato.
Favorite potato. Oh, yeah, starch meal. Yeah,
Anything
starch
with
food.
potato. Anything with provision. Anything with provision. I love ground food. I love ground food.
Okay, fair enough. What is your favorite activity to do? What does Rich Anna love to do for fun?
What I love to do for fun, make money and make people laugh. I like to tell jokes. My friends tell me I'm not funny, but he does be laughing while telling me I'm not funny. So I think he, I don't think he being honest.
Okay. How do you prepare yourself for performance?
Um, I get a playlist of all the songs in my set, and I start learning my set or going through my set weeks in advance. And usually on the day of, I listen to a lot of Nicki Minaj, a lot of Ice Spice, a lot of female rappers that hype themselves up. It might sound cliche because it's International Women's Day, but that's actually what I do. I listen to a lot of female rappers that are just they're standing on business and going out there and doing what they're supposed to do. And I embody myself in that same, basically in that same moment.
Okay. Okay. So my final question to you is this: um, what piece of advice would you give to women or young girls that wish to enter into the business? One, and two, in life in general.
In life in general, I'll start with that one. Actually, no, let me start with the music. If you're gonna enter the music industry, as I said earlier, learn. You don't have to be perfect at everything, but
Mhm.
learn a little bit about everything. Learn a little bit at least about production, about songwriting, about the legal aspects, the business aspects of music. It's going to help you in the long run.
Mhm.
And in terms of life in general, don't take no for an answer and be yourself. Be yourself. Don't look at other people and put yourself at that. Don't measure yourself by other persons. You are your own person at the end of the day. Nobody else could be you better than you. Be you. And things will fall into place, especially as a musician. But even if you're doing things outside of music, if you are a loctician, if you are a bank, a, a broker, if you're whatever your field is, be yourself, and you will automatically be the best at it. Because as a human, you always have your best interests at heart.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our interview slash podcast with Miss Anna. This has been an Andrew Sport and Entertainment Consultancy production, a three-part series of She Mode, and we ended it off with the silky smooth RichXAnna. So, my dear, I thank you very much. God's
Thank
blessing
you
to you.
again
Any
for
final
having me.
comments? Any final
Okay.
comments before we sign off?
Thank you again for having me. I really do appreciate the time spent and y'all appreciating tomorrow. Don't just appreciate tomorrow, appreciate every day, appreciate everyone. And I do hope that you'll have a great night. Everybody be safe, be blessed.
All right, Miss Anna, thank you. God bless and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Good night.